Hey guys, this is Heroic Flamingo and welcome to my Guild Wars 2 class guide for the Berserker. In this video I'm going to be looking at the Berserker's exclusive weapon and the new weapon skills. I'll then be looking at the healing, utility and elite skills that the Berserker can use. We'll also be looking at how the Berserker overhauls the warrior's base profession mechanics. And then I'll be looking at the traits within the Berserker elite specialization to see how you can make yourself even more powerful. So if you're interested in playing as a Berserker, if you already are and you want to know more, sit tight and we'll get started right now. Okay, so before we go into the detail, I just wanted to give you a quick profession overview for the Berserker. So the Berserker is the first elite specialization for the warrior and is unlocked in the Heart of Thorns expansion. Berserkers are capable of channeling their adrenaline to enter a berserk mode. While enraged, they gain access to new primal burst skills, replacing standard burst skills with new enhanced abilities. Further complementing the Berserker's new mode are rage skills, which offer new ways to gain adrenaline, ensuring that flying into a frenzy is never far away. So the Berserker, as well as adding the new offhand torch weapon to the warrior, it also replaces your normal burst skills and your normal adrenaline bar with a berserk mode. So once you fill up your adrenaline bar, you can enter berserk mode, which obviously we'll go into more detail later in the video, but it's really cool. Unlocks new skills you can use, different ones for each weapon, as well as just making you more powerful, and it's just got a really cool feel to it as well. So the first thing I want to have a look at is I want to go into the new weapon. Okay, so the first thing I want to have a look at for the Berserker is the new and exclusive weapon, and this is the offhand torch. So, you know, it's a little bit disappointing because obviously it only adds 2 new skills for us to look at, but we'll go through them anyway. And torch skills are normally pretty cool as they set people on fire and stuff, so we'll have a look now and see what they do. Okay, so I've equipped the offhand torch here on the Berserker, and the first skill I've got is Blaze Breaker. So this is a 15-second cooldown. So smash your torch into the ground, creating a deadly shockwave that conditions foes. Alright, so this can be done from 600 range, and it's going to smash into the ground and create a shockwave going forward. So every enemy in front of you in a row, up to a range of 600, will all be targeted up to a maximum of 3 targets. So it's going to be doing some initial damage, which is good, as well as putting burning on the foe, so damage over time, and cripple as well. So you've got initial damage, damage over time, and movement impairing effects. So to be honest, that's pretty good. And if you've got enemies coming towards you, smash that down, it's going to cripple them all and damage them. So that's going to be a pretty cool weapon, pretty cool skill to use. So if I try it out on this guy, it should go through him and go to the other guy as well. So let's try this out now. Boom. There you go. As you can see, they've both got cripple, they've both got burning on them, bit of initial damage as well, which is a pretty cool skill there. Okay, so our second skill on the offhand torch is Flames of War. This has a 25-second cooldown. So cleanse conditions and become a mobile fire field that burns nearby foes. When the field expires, it explodes, damaging foes and burning them again. Okay, that sounds really awesome actually. So you're going to become a mobile fire field, so this is going to follow you around. So basically you can run around setting fire to any enemies that come near you, so it creates basically a fire radius of 180 around you. So anyone you go near, it's going to set fire to. Up to 5 targets, lasts for 5 seconds, and also removes 2 conditions from yourself as well. So it's got a bit of damage, burning, and then final burning. So when it expires, whoever you're near then, so make sure you're near an enemy when it expires, because it's going to do a big load of burning damage at the end as well, so do bear that in mind. Okay, so let's try this out then. So boom, there you go. I can move around, set you on fire, set you on fire, set you on fire, and then boom, big one at the end there, to a big load of burning damage over time. So that's pretty cool. Alright, so that is the new and exclusive weapon for the Berserker, the torch. So the next thing I want to have a look at is the new healing skill. Okay, so now I want to have a look at the new healing skill. So this is our first look at one of the new rage abilities, which is a new type of ability unlocked with the Berserker elite specialization. So this healing skill is called Blood Reckoning, and has a 25-second cooldown. So heal yourself, gain adrenaline, and recharge all primal burst skills. Heal for a percentage of your outgoing damage. This skill extends the duration of Berserk mode. So there's a couple of things there which I'm going to get into in more detail when I do the profession mechanics a little bit later in the video. But basically, you're gonna heal yourself, so you're gonna have a nice initial heal. You're gonna gain adrenaline, So obviously your adrenaline bar here, you're gonna get that up, which is good. Recharge all primal burst skills, so those are the skills that you can use while you're in berserk mode. Like I said, we'll go into that in more detail a bit later on. And heal for a percentage of your outgoing damage. So for 5 seconds you're going to be healing for 33% of your outgoing damage. So if you're doing a lot of damage, then this can be quite a big heal, because the initial heal is decent but not massive, but obviously you've got this added thing, so you're going to want to use this and then put a lot of damage output so you can heal yourself in a maximum amount. And this skill also extends duration of berserk mode, so if you're in berserk mode it's going to extend it by an extra 5 seconds, so that's pretty cool as well. Okay. Right, so let's have a look at what this looks like then. So boom, there you go, nice. We see obviously it goes down because we're in combat, but boom, ups our adrenaline, you know, so we gain adrenaline, heal, recharge primal burst, and then obviously for a short period, 5 seconds afterwards, we'll be healing for the amount of damage we do. So quite a lot of effects there. So not your basic healing skill, interacts a lot with the berserk mode as you'd expect with these rage abilities, but that's a really cool healing skill, and I'm happy with that one. So now that's the healing skill done, now I want to have a look at the new and exclusive utility skills. Alright, so now we're going to have a look at the new utility skills. So these are the 4 new rage abilities across the top here. So I'll equip the first 3 now, have a look at them, and then we'll do the final one just afterwards. Okay, so the first rage ability here is Wild Blow. So this has a 20-second cooldown. So lash out with a critical attack that launches your target. The target flies backwards, knocking back other foes in the way. Gain fury and extend the duration of berserk mode if this attack hits. Alright, so quite a few things to get into there. So we're gonna do a critical attack. So critical chance increase 100%. So good chance of getting a critical from this. You're gonna put fury on yourself, which gives you higher critical chance for 8.25 seconds afterwards. We're gonna knock enemies back as well. So there's quite a few things, and obviously if you're in berserk mode, if you hit with this, you're going to be extending that berserk mode by 4 seconds as well, so that's really cool. So hit up to 5 enemies, and you want to do it from melee range, so there's a lot of stuff there. Let's have a look to see how this actually works in practice. Okay, so let's have a look then at Wild Blow. Wait, go away. Let's try on this guy. Boom, there we go. You can see it knocks them back, puts fury on myself. If I'm in berserk mode, it extends it. Good chance of a critical hit as well, so it'll do a decent amount of damage. So a bunch of things there in one utility skill, so that's really cool. The next one is Shattering Blow, and this has a 20-second cooldown. So summon a rock that blocks attacks, then shatter it to send out rock fragments that inflict bleeding on all foes in front of you. Extends the duration of berserk mode if it hits. Okay, so we're going to be damaging enemies, bleeding them, granting stability to ourselves, giving ourselves rock guard, so it blocks incoming attacks, hits up to 5 enemies, and if you use it while in berserk mode, then you're going to increase the duration of that by 3 seconds as well, so that's really cool. Okay, so we're going to, so basically, yeah, we're going to summon this rock, and it's going to block attacks for a second and a half. No, sorry, for half a second, I think it says, and then it's going to shatter and send out rock fragments. There's a couple of things there. So let's try this out and see how this works. So what's the range? Range is 600, so you can do it from mid-range. So let me try it on this guy from here. So summon the rock, and then boom. Oh, okay, right, there you go. And it's obviously going to bleed the enemy as well. So it's going to summon that. It's going to block an attack. So if you've got a big attack incoming, you can use that to quickly block it. And then it's going to shoot that projectile at the enemy, bleeding them, granting you stability as well. So there's a couple of things there. Also reflects missiles, which is pretty cool as well. So that's quite a few things there, just for that utility skill. So the third one is Sundering Leap. This has a 20-second cooldown. Leap to a location, dealing damage and inflicting conditions on all foes in the area. Extends the duration of berserk mode if it hits. Alright, so this is a ground targeted leap ability that we can do from 600 range with a radius of 180 when you land. So it can then hit up to 5 enemies, it's going to cripple them, it's going to put vulnerability on them. So there's a couple of cool things there. So it's going to do that, as well as doing a decent amount of damage to all enemies around. Good way of like entering combat and sort of sticking some conditions on, because obviously the vulnerability is going to mean all of your other skills are going to do more damage. So that's pretty awesome. Alright, so let's try this out now. So, Sundering Leap, here we go. Let's try it out on this poor little guy here. So if I see there, it's obviously showing me I can do it from about that far away. And it's showing me my target area here. So let's jump, smash, nice, cripple, vulnerability, bit of damage there, and obviously that's going to affect all of the enemies in that area. So that's really cool utility skill there. So that's another one to add to our collection. Alright, so we've just switched to our fourth and final utility skill here, our final rage ability, and this is called Outrage, and has a 20-second cooldown. So break out of stun and extend the duration of Berserk mode. The extension of Berserk mode increases if a stun was broken. Okay, so it increases the duration of your Berserk mode by 1 second, or stun break duration increases 5 seconds. So if you use this to break out of a stun, you'll increase your Berserker by 5 seconds. So really, you know, you're only going to really want to use this if you want to break out of a stun, because that's the main purpose of it. If you don't, you're only going to gain in 1 second to your Berserker mode, so it's probably not really worth it. So let's try this out now. It's not really going to be able to show you what it does, but just for seeing how it looks like. So boom, there you go. So that's going to give us an extra second of Berserk mode, but it's going to break out of stun, so obviously you can keep that on your bar there, so when you get stunned, use that, and not only are you going to break out of it, but if you're in Berserk mode, you're going to get an extra 5 seconds as well. So that's a couple of things that it does there, so that's really cool. So that's all of the utility skills for the Berserker. So the next thing I want to have a look at is the new Elite skill. Okay, so now I want to have a look at the new and exclusive Elite skill for the Berserker. So this is obviously an Elite Rage ability, and it's called Headbutt. And it's an 18-second cooldown, so it's not like a massive ability that's going to have a really long cooldown. It's something that you can throw into your build and use on quite a regular basis, so that's quite cool. So what it's going to do is it's going to stun the target and stun yourself. Gain adrenaline and extend Berserk duration if you hit. This skill removes all stability and deals increased damage if stability was removed. So we're going to do a bit of damage, as you can see. We're going to stun the enemy for 3 seconds and ourselves for 1 second, which is interesting. But it's going to give us 30 adrenaline, so basically, if we're not in Berserk mode already, it's going to fill this up all the way to the top so you can enter Berserk mode. So that's pretty cool, considering you can do that every 18 seconds. So if you want to use Berserk mode a lot, and that's going to be a main part of your build, this will be a really good Elite skill, because you can pretty much use this all the time to get yourself into Berserk mode. But I suppose do bear in mind that you are going to stun yourself for a second, but then the target will be stunned for 3 seconds. So there you go. So it increases the extended duration of Berserk mode. So if you use it in Berserk mode, you're going to get full adrenaline. Also, you're going to extend the duration by 2 seconds. So that's really cool as well. So quite a few things it's going to do there. So let's have a look. Let's go and headbutt somebody. Okay, come here. The range is 400 apparently, which is interesting, but we'll do it from close up. Boom. Oh, it slides towards them, I think, and then there you go. So I was only stunned for a second, but they got 3 seconds of stun. I've now got full adrenaline, so I can go straight into Berserk mode. And yeah, that's pretty cool, to be fair. And obviously increase your duration of Berserk mode if you're in it as well, so that's really awesome. So yeah, that's a really good Elite skill to use if you're using the Berserk mode. Look, as you can see, it's come back already, so a really quick cooldown, so you can use that a lot of the time. I can use it again now and get my my adrenaline back up to full. So that is the new Elite skill. So the next thing I want to do is I want to have a look at the unique profession mechanics for the Berserker. Okay, so now I want to go into the unique profession mechanics for the Berserker. So this is all looking pretty similar to how it looks for the base warrior, you're probably thinking, but there is quite a big difference. So you've got your adrenaline bar here, which will fill up when you're in combat and when you're damaging enemies, and obviously if you use any skills that grant you like a big portion of adrenaline, that will affect it as well. So your adrenaline will build up, and what you've got here is you've got Berserk. So this replaces your normal burst ability. So on the base warrior, you just have a burst ability there, which you can use when you've got your adrenaline, and it just differs on depending on what weapon you're using. So it's not too dissimilar. So when it fills up to 30, you can go into Berserk mode, and when you go into Berserk mode, it has a few effects. I'll go into that in a second, but what it does is it replaces that ability there, or it replaces your whole adrenaline bar with a smaller bar, which is only 10 adrenaline to fill up, and when it fills up you can use your primal burst ability. So very much like the burst abilities for the core warrior, but a primal burst ability, and there is a different one for every weapon again, and that's every two-hand and main hand weapon, which are a total of 7 for the warrior. So there's 7 different primal burst abilities that you can use. So having a look at the actual Berserk, so when you go into Berserker mode, as you can see, Berserk 15-second cooldown, gain adrenaline, an attack speed boost, and access to primal burst skills. So you're going to get an increase of 15% attack speed. You're going to do some damage and set fire to enemies around you when you first go into it. You're going to gain quickness and super speed, as you can see there, as well as getting 10 adrenaline. So basically what that means is when you get your new adrenaline bar, which only goes up to 10, it will start full up, so you can use your primal burst ability straight away. And obviously we'll be looking at all of this in a minute. And it hits up to 5 enemies there when you first go into it, sets them on fire. It lasts for 15 seconds, but obviously as we were looking at all of those rage abilities, a lot of them do extend it. So if you've got plenty of rage abilities in your bar and you use them while you're in Berserk mode, you will be extending how long, but the normal duration is 15 seconds. So you're basically just going to be a little bit quicker, a little bit more powerful while you're in this mode. And, you know, to be honest, the main point of the Berserker is, you know, you want to stay in Berserk mode, you want to extend that for as long as possible, because you're just going to be more powerful. And obviously when we look at the traits, there's probably things that will make you even more powerful when you're in the Berserk state, so let's bear that in mind. So what I'll do is I'm going to show you the Berserk mode, and I'm going to show you the primal burst ability for each individual weapon. So what I'll do is I'll do that now, and I'll cut to each one. I'll equip the two-hand and main hand weapons one by one and show you the primal burst ability while showing you sort of how the Berserk mode works. Alright, so as you can see, I've got the great sword equipped and I've got my full adrenaline bar. So if I press F1 now, I'm going to go straight into Berserk mode. There you go. So I now have the Arc Divider ability, which is spin to create shockwaves that grow in size to damage nearby foes. So let's try this out. Nice. So as you can see, that does damage to up to 5 enemies around you, spins around, and it's a pretty cool ability there. So that's the Great Sword Primal Burst ability, and that was your first look there at the Berserker mode. Okay, so now I've got full adrenaline with the two-hand hammer equipped. So what I can do is I can go into the Berserk mode and try this out. Okay, so this gives us Rupturing Smash, which is jump to the targeted location and slam your hammer down, creating a deadly chain of earthen shockwaves that immobilize and daze foes. So let's try this out. So ground targeted, boom, oh my god. That's a really awesome ability. So you're immobilizing and dazing all enemies there in a big row, and it's obviously ground targeted, so you can use it to jump at the enemy. So that's a really cool primal burst skill there. Okay, so now with the longbow, let's have a little look at what we can do in here. So, Scorched Earth. So fire a burning shot into the ground that creates a trail of flaming destruction. So let's try this out. Okay, so that spreads it across the floor there, targets up to 5 enemies, doing damage, setting them on fire, and lasts for 4 seconds. So that's a really cool primal burst ability there. Okay, so now we've got the rifle equipped, and let's go into Berserk mode and see what we've got. Alright, so gun flame. So fire a fast flaming shot that explodes on the first foe it hits, interrupting foes in the area. So we're going to set them on fire, damage them, and daze them. So it's going to hit all foes in the area, so let's try this out. Boom. There you go, as you can see. Not that spectacular looking, but has a good effect. Hits all the enemies in the area, dazing and setting them on fire as well. Now we've got the main hand axe. Decapitate. Gather your strength into a powerful attack. If it hits, gain might and recharge this skill. Okay, so let's try this out on this guy. Boom, there you go. Nice big hit there. And, you know, as you can see, you can get your adrenaline up nice and quick after that. And if you hit it, it regenerates the skill as well. So you can pretty much use it quite quickly as long as you're building up adrenaline pretty fast. So now the main hand mace. Skull Grinder. Unleash a powerful skull strike that dazes your target and inflicts multiple conditions. So blindness, bleeding, confusion, cripple and daze all in one hit. Let's try it out on this poor guy. Bam, there you go. Look at all those conditions stuck on that guy as well. That's really awesome. So that's a really good one there for sticking conditions on your enemies with the main hand mace primal burst skill. Last but not least, we have the one hand sword. So let's try this out. Flaming flurry. So lash out with a flurry of strikes that block missiles and shoot fireballs at foes in front of you. So this can be done from range. So let's try this out. Oh my god. That's really awesome. So you literally hit, you strike at the air with your sword and you shoot fireballs at the enemies, setting them on fire. So that's a really cool primal burst skill there as well. Okay, so that is the Berserker mode, as you saw. Makes you attack faster, makes you a little bit more powerful, gives you the primal burst skills. So obviously when picking which weapon you want to use, do take into account not just the weapon skills, but also your primal burst ability, because that will be defined by your main hand or your two-hand weapon. So I think that pretty much covers everything for the profession mechanics for the Berserker. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a look at the Elite Specialization and the traits within it. Alright, so now I want to have a look at the Berserker Elite Specialization and see the individual traits within it. Okay, so we've got the Berserker here on our third Elite Spec bar here. And just by having it on here, we have the torch proficiency, which allows us to wield torches in your offhand. Obviously we've already been over that, so just by having that on here, you can wield the torch. Also, your first passive here gives you the things we've been through, so it gives you the Primal Rage, which gain access to Berserk mode and Primal Bursts and all those skills there. And we've been through all of those already, so that's how you get that, just by having this first passive trait there. So our first choice here is Smash Brawler. So it increases Berserk mode duration. So this is going to increase the duration of your Berserk mode by 5 seconds. So if you're using it a lot, this is pretty cool. So, you know, just by having this chosen, you're going to have a 20-second Berserk mode rather than your normal 15 seconds. So that's really awesome. Next up, Last Blaze. So when you use a Rage skill, inflict burning on nearby enemies. So any of these rage abilities that we've been through, that includes the healing and elite skill, as well as the utilities that we've been through, that's going to inflict burning on nearby enemies at the same time. So up to 5 targets with a burn radius of 300. Savage Instinct. So activating Berserk mode breaks stuns and reduces incoming damage. So yeah, so whenever you activate your Berserk mode to F1 when you filled it up, you're going to break stun and reduce incoming damage, so feel no pain. So for 2 seconds you're going to have minus 100% incoming damage, so you're going to take no damage for 2 seconds when you go into Berserk mode, so that's pretty awesome. Your next passive is Burst of Aggression. So gain a burst of speed when entering Berserk mode. So yeah, when you enter Berserk mode, so when you activate it, you're going to gain quickness and super speed. So quickness means your skills and actions are faster for 2 seconds. Super speed for 3 seconds means you're going to be running around super quick. So that's really awesome. Next up, Blood Reaction. So a percentage of precision is given as a bonus to ferocity. This bonus is doubled in Berserk mode. So 7% of your precision given to ferocity, just a standard, and then when you're in Berserk mode, that's 14%. So that's just going to make you more powerful as well, which is awesome. Heat the Soul. So gain condition damage. Gain additional condition damage while wielding a torch. Torch skills gain reduced recharge. So if you're going to use the offhand torch as one of your weapons on your build, you might want to consider this, because you're going to reduce the recharge of those couple of torch skills, as well as giving you additional condition damage just for having that equipped. Next you've got Dead or Alive. So receiving fatal damage while in Berserk mode ends Berserk and heals you. Incoming healing is increased. So this means that basically while you've got Berserk mode active, you can't die. At least, you know, if someone hits you while in Berserk mode, which would have otherwise killed you, you'll come out of Berserk mode, get a good amount of healing, and increase your incoming healing going forward as well. So it helps you stay alive. So it, you know, makes you that bit more tanky. Your next passive, Fatal Frenzy. So Berserk mode increases power and condition damage, but reduces toughness. So you're going to have an extra 300 power, extra 300 condition damage, but 300 less toughness when you're in Berserk mode. So it's a bit of a trade-off there, but you know, overall you're getting 600 there to your damage and only up 300 off your toughness, so it's going to make you just more powerful, but just a little bit easier to kill, so do bear that in mind. Your next choice here is Bloody Roar. So deal increased damage while in Berserk mode. So while you're in Berserk mode, 15% damage increase. So that's good because it's basically just going to make you more powerful. So that's a good one there if you want to use Berserk mode a lot. Next, King of Fires. So increase the duration of burning you apply. Gain Fire Aura when you critically hit an enemy. Berserker skills detonate Fire Aura, damaging and burning nearby foes. So that's awesome. So burning you applies increase, so if you're using the torch, you know, that has a lot of burning stuff, so that's good. So that's going to increase the duration of that, and when you critically hit an enemy, you're going to get Fire Aura, and Berserker skills detonate that Fire Aura, which is going to damage and set fire to enemies. So that's pretty cool there. It links in with the Berserker mode and your critical hits. Finally, we've got Eternal Champion. So gain toughness while in Berserker mode. Gain stability and might when breaking stuns. So this is plus 300 toughness. So this actually negates the minus 300 from that Fatal Frenzy there. So this is if you don't want to lose that toughness on Berserker mode, you can use this so you won't actually lose any, and you're also going to gain stability and might when you go into it as well. So that's all of the traits for the elite specialization for the Berserker. So the last thing I want to do is I'm going to throw together a quick Berserker build, and I'm going to do a combat demonstration for you guys so you can see what it looks like when it all comes together. Okay, so I've thrown together a quick Berserker build. We've got the main hand axe with our new and exclusive offhand torch here. We've got the great sword as our other weapon. And then we've got a nice selection of all of these rage abilities along here that we've been looking at. They're exclusive for the Berserker as well. So let's try this out.
Strong, adrenaline rush.
Alright, so that's really awesome. I do love that Berserker mode. I mean, I think base warrior is a little bit basic for me, and I think this Berserker mode just adds this cool new aspect to it, which just makes you feel like a proper warrior, you know what I mean? It makes you have that feeling that you should have when you're playing as a character like this. So I think that pretty much covers everything for the Berserker. If you have any more questions, then just leave them in the comments below and I'll get back to you. If you want to watch a video on any of the other classes or elite specializations, then check out the playlist on my channel, as I've pretty much done all of them now and there's just a few left. Also, if you want to watch a video that covers all of the classes and elite specializations in one shorter video, then I've got that as well, so do check that out. So thanks for watching guys, like and subscribe to be kept up to date, and I'll see you later.